and good evening for this Wednesday, November the 6th, 2024. Survivor 47, episode 8 is over, titled He's All That. But we're just getting started here on Super Mader Brothers podcast for our live stream review here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch. I'm Dave Mader, joined with my brother Jeff Mader.
Hello.
Hello, Mustachio, and Jaemeel Robinson.
Hola.
And of course, back with us. Well, after I don't know, you have been on this season, right, Jason?
I have, yes.
It has been a few weeks.
2 weeks ago.
It's Jason R. Phillips, everybody.
Hello. Nice to meet you finally, Jeff.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Have you guys never been on the same podcast?
Nope.
I for some reason I remembered them being on the same podcast, Jaemeel. But
Okay. I apologize. My intro shouldn't have been hello. It should have been hack, key, sack, in tribute to the He's All That.
He's All That reference here. The title of this episode is He's All That. Of course, Andy coming into his own in this season of Survivor. We're going to break all this all down tonight here on this live stream review and recap.
His eyes are good.
His eyes are good. You know, he doesn't need the glasses anymore. He can fling his hair. You know, hold on. We need to find this.
It's so...
Where, you know, Andy struck back here tonight, guys, and Andy has turned on his Gata Alliance members. He's not their dog anymore. He is his own man, and it is as he turned on Sam and Sierra more specifically, and Sierra gets voted out here in a revote scenario. With Andy maybe enjoying it a little too much. I don't know. We'll have to talk about that. Of course, you know, there was a lot of arrogance around Andy that, you know, Sarah's like, we're just keeping this guy around until we can't tolerate him anymore, and then we'll get rid of him. Of course, this is an auction episode where we get the Survivor auction back. I can't remember the last time they had one of these, but it's been a while. So it was kind of interesting. I think strategically how it played out tonight. I think some of these callbacks to eating the fear factor foods, if you will. Well, I guess Survivor
I'd like to say that I wanted the auction back so badly, and I've been complaining about these long episodes this whole time, and we finally get the auction, and I look at the clock, and they did auction things for 41 minutes. So I can't have it
both ways.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. I don't know. Just a solid 1 hour show with two games. If it's going to be a long episode, I don't know. This episode was kind of weak in my opinion, but we'll get to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, Jeff, would you agree that this was a weaker episode, or were you here for this 45 minutes of auction material?
The auction was a slog. I mean, how many plates of nachos and chicken wings and do you need?
Have you ever seen the auction sped up like that because they had like 12 items and they were just kind of going through them?
Yeah, they were kind of.
I've never seen the fish eyes sped through like that.
Well, speaking of, I pulled a clip just for that one because I just love the Probst at the end with it. That's how you do it. I think is it this one?
Oh! Fish eyes. Oh! Can I do it? Watch over the two.
Wow. That's how you do it on Survivor, Caroline.
The sound effects, quite so disgusting.
Yeah, the Foley artist was working overtime on that one.
Yeah, a little bit of embellishment here. I don't know. It was a bit gross. I was trying to eat food actually during that sequence, and that was not a smart move on my part. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do sometimes in your schedule. And, I don't know. I thought it was okay. I think the more notable part of this auction for me tonight was the fact that Andy could not find one of those scrolls.
Walked by 4 of them.
You know, like, we're wondering why maybe he's treated the way he is by some of these people, but, you know, then you see these other moments here with Andy, and you kind of really do understand why, I think. And yeah, he was walking by the mall. He had no money going into this auction. And, you know, what was really telling to me was later on when I think, who got the peanut butter? Was it Sierra who got the peanut butter?
Yeah, and she had to split it with
And she took it
people.
with Gabe and Caroline, I think.
I thought it would have been really smart, Dave, if she had picked Andy for that.
Well, I
Agreed.
think that Andy thought so too.
But
Yeah,
Caroline had just eaten a grub and
fish eyes.
fish eyes. So
Right.
So
And Gabe had a refreshing uh,
coconut with
coconut
water in it.
water, cold water.
Gabe
Right.
was crying the whole auction. Like you could see it. Like he just had this victim, look on his face every time someone got something good, and he was like, oh. I was just like, oh, just stop. Like you have a
How
lot
many-
of money, like just buy the thing. And then I was happy that he didn't get what he wanted. I was like, good. That's what you get for all your sad faces. Like you have money. Like Andy, he just sat there, he had no money, he just had to watch all these people eat all this food. I was like, you know what, good. The whole episode I was like, I feel like the show is doing this on purpose, is putting you in the viewpoint of Andy. It's like, imagine you're Andy and you're out there and nobody likes you, and yeah, you're a little strange, but imagine everyone else is just like putting you aside. You're nobody. You'll be a goat at the end, and then he's going to end up winning this season. I truly believe that he has a great chance of winning this season, because he's in every episode. He is like the main character of the show, and that's just like my gut feeling. That's what I feel like is going to happen.
Yeah,
I-
I could see that.
Are we calling winner edit here for Andy?
It's at least he makes it to the final 3 and like wins fire or something, and that's his ultimate.
And
That's
run
his
Who
around
does he
ultimate.
win
perhaps?
fire over? Kyle?
Maybe.
I could see him being like, yeah, maybe he finishes second,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, I could totally, like the way the show's editing him, it's like he is the most important character. Like a lot of these other characters, like Teeny is like, all she cares about is women. Like she just wants the women to be strong, and it's just but then another woman gets voted out tonight, so that's not working, and like, so there's certain characters, like I'm like, why am I cheering for this person? Like even Caroline and like Genevieve, they seem to just be targeting Rachel, haven't been able to get her, like it's just little things like that where I'm like, okay, what's their story? Like, why should they win?
I don't necessarily think that there's a winner's edit, but a conflict edit. So there's specific conflicts that come up. So Tiana and Gabe, there wasn't that much shown from their tribe because the tribe didn't suck as much as the other two, and they made it to the merge. They focused on the important things, which is Sue's loyalty to Gabe, Carolyn being this mediator, kind of strategist, Tiana being vindictive against Gabe, Kyle being a ho-hum nice guy. That's basically it.
That's Tuku.
That's Tuku in a nutshell. In terms of this new merge situation, it's Guinevere and Carolyn recognizing Rachel. Guinevere. What's her name?
Genevieve.
Genevieve.
Or she's French. Genevieve.
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 Genevieve. Conflict with Rachel, and I think it's like it's a triangle right now, and the two of them are going to gang up on Rachel. Rachel's going to take one of them out, and one of them is going to beat Rachel. That's basically their story for this season of Survivor. And once that conflict is done, they'll be a non-factor until they're eliminated. That's it.
I agree. I think this is exactly what's going to happen, and it sucks because I have Rachel and Genevieve in the draft. I'm like, they're smart, they're doing well, and I agree. I think they're just going to eat each other, and they're not going to matter by the end of the game.
That's
once Rachel runs out of the advantages that she seems to have had for the last 2 episodes, she's going to be SOL, because she was on the chopping block there for a sec. She even played her shot in the dark tonight, which I felt like she did to sort of suss out the situation, because she did, and then she was looking around like, does anybody? And they showed, I think, Caroline swallowed deeply. That was for us at home. She might not even swallowed at that moment. I find with these longer episodes too, what they do is they start out the back at camp moment with, we're voting this person out, and then they like throw a couple of maybes at us. But this was interesting because I thought Gabe was toast, and then I thought Sam was toast, and then they went full hog on the way that they went, and then they had that they split the vote, and then had that Reed vote that really ended up showing us that maybe that was the plan all along, was to really focus one way or the other. But they broke that alliance up, and I think that's great, because now you don't have a power couple running the roost, right? So
Yeah. I did feel that they were Genevieve was focused primarily on Rachel. They kind of showed a shot of her kind of staring at Rachel, and they made it simulate like she was watching her fiddle with her pockets.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I guess just to put the hint out, is she going to play her idol or not? It would have been disastrous if she did, because she would have just completely have just run out of all the options. But I did like the idea of playing the shot in the dark, because just to see how people's reactions are, and you save your idol for another day most likely, and kind of suss out the situation, as Jason, you so eloquently mentioned previously.
That might have been the smartest use of a shot in the dark that I've seen strategically, because what she did was basically, okay, if they're voting me, I'm screwed. But I could use the idol, sure, but what that only saves me for this vote, and they're going to get me eventually. So if I use the shot in the dark now, basically I have like a, maybe a 30% chance that they're not coming after me, because they're either going after Sam or Sierra. I think she like had a gut instinct that was what was happening. So she went, okay, I'll use my shot in the dark, and if it saves me, great. And if it doesn't, well, then I'll roll the dice and I'll keep my idol for the next one, and we'll see what happens. So, like, I thought it was very smart, like, play by her. I was like, oh, that's actually very clever. And shot in the dark is usually just like, oh, well, I know I'm going
that's
home.
Yeah.
So I thought
What
it
was
was.
the
pretty
ori-
smart.
Sorry, what was the
I was just-
original vote?
They didn't show it, which also made me mad when they did the revote. When they showed like the votes at the end, they only showed the revote, and like so like if someone voted for Gabe. I'm guessing that was Sierra, but like there was another vote.
You sure it was? Oh yeah.
Okay, here I have the clip here. So Andy appears to vote for Sierra.
No,
Oh, sorry.
that's the revote. I think. No,
I think this is the original vote. Let's see, Sierra, and then
no, they're all Sierras.
Saul, Sierra.
Yeah, this is the revote, because remember when Andy voted the first time, he was like, I'm dirty, I played dirty. And it's like, you've never played dirty a single time in this whole show. You've been the lovable doofus. And also I agree with like it's like a audience self-insert thing. And that's how I'm going to be watching the show from now on, Jeff. That's just my headcanon. The producers did that. He's like, this guy sucks. Let's make him like, what if you were here? And Jeff keeps looking right at the camera and saying, you could come play Survivor, so I can steal your souls as well.
They're like, can you believe this guy is playing Survivor? This guy can't see 2 feet in front of his face.
No, wait, it's like that scene, and she's all that, where he's coming out, doesn't need these glasses anymore, doesn't need the cool kids anymore. The hair's flying out.
The producer was like, take your buff off and your glasses and swing your hair around. We'll do something fun.
Yeah, probably.
He likes to play with his hair anyway. So like,
Yeah.
I wish they paid for sixpence on the lesser.
We needed that song, to really, but I guess they were like, well, we're not gonna.
And then it show him walking into like tribal, and just in slow motion, like he's walking down the stairs. Oh,
yeah.
My video froze.
Do you feel, as an audience, do you feel satisfied for Andy that he kind of got maybe something back here against Sierra and Sam, and got one
maybe
over
a
on
little
them?
bit. I think that they were being too mean to him, maybe, but not to his face, I guess, but to the camera, to us. They are acting like bullies. And when he goes and watches Survivor, when he gets home, he might cry at how little he actually knew about how badly they were just using him as a goat, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. He's one of these guys who walks up to you and goes, I'm just having a bad day.
Oh,
I don't know. It's a really bad day today.
Can I have a hug?
Can I have a hug? I can't, that neediness is not everyone's cup of tea, I guess,
Yeah.
Is it as bad as previous seasons where, hey, I need someone to walk with me or hold my hand while I sleep, lest we forget?
Okay, but here's the thing. Okay, Sam especially was the guy that wanted to keep this guy on his tribe. He wanted him on his hip because he thought, oh, he's a good goat, or I could control him, whatever, right? But
Right.
then he gets him to the merge, and he's like, "Oh, he's expendable. I'll make fun of him. It doesn't matter." Like, he did like a cardinal sin of Survivor. It's like, yeah, like you never saw Boston Rob do this with Philip. He didn't make fun of Philip. He didn't like he didn't do that. Like he was like, "No, I need Philip to trust me. I need Philip beside me." And that's exactly what Sam and Sarah should have been doing with Andy. They should have made him feel like he was so smart. They should have made him feel like he was right there with them making decisions, but instead they didn't do that at all. And that's their downfall tonight. Like that is a big part of what happened, because if Annie was insulated with them, Rachel probably goes home tonight. Like it's probably what ends up happening. I don't see anyone else.
Well, Rachel didn't get any votes in the initial vote, right?
Yeah, but my point
No.
is Andy never would have went up to everyone and go, "I want to get Sierra or Sam out." Like that never would have happened.
Yeah.
Did they need his vote in this situation? Was his vote here important, or was he just
He kind of switched his entire team up because did he?
When they show him later, he's smiling like he masterminded the whole thing, but I don't really perceive it to be that way. I think that he thinks he might have engineered it, but I don't.
What he really contributes, because now I do have the votes here from the original vote. The main thing he contributes is he forces this tie with Sierra and Sam, and because they would have just split the votes on them. If they had one less vote with his vote, then they still could have pulled this off. It didn't. It wasn't like he was integral, but he forces this tie. He gets a little bit of theater, I guess, in this situation, and he gets this moment. And we're gonna see how Sam reacts to this once they get back to camp, and he realizes, he's been
Puts
played
on
by-
Joker makeup and starts like, why so serious?
And if he knew if Andy knew that this was the way the vote was going, he actually should not have voted like Sierra or Sam out. He should have played that plausible deniability and had Sam lose his mind and go, wow, like I'm going after everybody else. But now he's going to know that I think Andy was in on this. So he's not a good player is the point, but he's like this player that the show is like basically making him the main character. Like, and it's they've done this ever since 40, and that's why you're right. Jeff keeps saying this thing, like, you could come out here, you on your couch, apply for Survivor, he keeps saying that. And I think the point is it's not all Adonises. It's not like people survive. It's basically anybody can come out now and play Survivor. It's only 26 days,
This is also a similar edit to when Marianne won.
Exactly.
She was the lovable doofus. She wouldn't stop talking. Everybody was like, she's out of here. And I thought Teenie was going to be that. But Teenie, even though she looks the way she looks, she's surprisingly level-headed. And she's, like you guys were saying, she's very focused on doing the woman alliance, which never really pans out. It's got like a 40% success rate.
It's too high, Jason.
You think that's too high? Like more like 25%?
No, it doesn't
Happened a few
translate
times.
to
Black Widow Brigade, the Kim Sprodlin. I can't really think of another.
Actually, I think like the woman player on this season that is the most impressive so far to me, it's kind of incredible because she hasn't been on the show that much, is Genevieve, who I think is potentially going to the end here. Is going to be sort of looked at as maybe one of the strong, especially if she wins, is going to be looked at as one of the stronger female winners, up there with Sprodlin, yeah. Like
She kind of reminds me of Kim Sprodlin. It's very similar.
same like energy and way that she carries herself, sort of, and the way she's kind of wheeling and dealing here on the side, and I don't know. I feel like no one's talking about Genevieve. Like, let's go after her.
Not yet. They know she's good. Like Caroline, Genevieve, and Rachel all are targeting each other because they all know they're the same. They all know they're the same player, and they want to be the mastermind person at the end.
Jaemeel, are you Jaemeel Robinson? If you're not watching the audio video version, everybody, this is something.
Are you in a Daft Punk music video?
Yeah.
Are they back?
Jaemeel Robinson has turned on some kind of filter on his camera.
No, that's just my camera not working as. See, I spoke too soon.
And then it just straightens out on its own. Yeah.
I
Great.
spoke too soon. It's gonna freeze again.
I think you turned on a strobe light. You just don't turn that back on, so you'll be fine.
Every good episode deserves a dance break.
Right.
Yes, that's true.
Guys, one of the big dynamics I wanted to talk about in this particular episode was that this dynamic of like you basically have Lavo here in the middle, right, between the three original tribes, and you sort of have like I guess Tuku and Gata on the other sides, and ultimately at the beginning of this like episode, it's like Gata and Lavo are allied, and a lot of that's driven by Teeny. The Teeny of the surviving Lavos, which is Saul, Teeny, and Genevieve. She's leaning that way, but we see that Genevieve would rather move the other way, and it seems like Saul he seems to be working more maybe closely with Genevieve. So they ultimately work over here with Tuku, who had to cannibalize one of their own in the last tribal council, with that being Tiana, of course. And there was there's this whole thing that they're going to come after Rachel, but then ultimately this all flips around. Lavo sides with Tuku here, and they vote out Sierra. So why is Lavo in that great middle position, I guess, Jaemeel, in your opinion?
Because they did what the not Tuku. What's the other tribe? Not Lavo. What's the other?
Gata.
Gata got. Gata did not take control and allowed Lavo to make that decision. Right? They thought it was a lock that they were going to work together as a tribe, and it wasn't. The moment that Saul had an option that did not necessarily include Rachel, right, as a target, he was like, fine, because Rachel's the only one that he's looking to move forward with out of that situation. So Sierra and Sam, I don't need them. Get rid of them.
Right. Well, Jason, do you think if we didn't have this immunity here on Kyle and Sue in this particular episode, that potentially it's a different outcome in this tribal?
I don't know. Kyle is the lovable everyman that I think is going to make it extremely far, if not to the end, if not win. I think he's got an outside chance of just squeaking by. He's never really made any plays though, so I don't know if he actually wins the jury vote. Sue, however, is an easy person to have in a swing vote situation because she's just a number, and she's also, to answer your question though, tonight I don't think either of these people really had anything to worry about, unless it fell that way, unless they needed a tiebreaker like what happened with Andy. I think that was last week or the week before, and then you have Sue walking around camping like, I'm only 45, how dare you write my name down.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I'm kind of stuck of like how much they really want Kyle out, and like in particular, not maybe Sue less so for sure, but
his name did get brought up tonight. As I recall, somebody threw Kyle out there before in between.
I think that's what they're saying when it was the Gata Lavo alliance, and they were like, okay, we're going after Tuku. Let's prioritize the Tuku men, being Kyle and Gabe, right? And so and then when Kyle was immune here after this challenge, ultimately Gabe seems like the option if you're going to vote out a member of Tuku or Caroline, I guess.
That is what Sierra and Teeny wanted to do. Okay. And they clearly were not in charge of things. Teeny went around the whole episode going, I don't think we should take a Sierra out. And guess who went home? So Teeny has no power in this game, even though she's trying to play like she does. I don't think she does. Like she would have got her way tonight if she had any power. Who decided that it was going to be Sam tonight? I think it was pretty clear. It was the Tuku people. It was mostly Gabe that decided it had to be Sierra, not Sam tonight. That's how I read it.
If it had been up to Teeny, it definitely would have been Sam.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And if it had been up to Genevieve, it would have been Rachel in the first place. But
right. And Caroline.
But I guess if I don't know who Genevieve's preference would have been, and Saul, I guess Genevieve and Saul's preference would have been Sam or Sierra.
They clearly chose Sierra.
Yeah.
Because Sierra is like, again, and it falls in line with what Caroline and Genevieve were talking about, that she's a lot more strategic. Sam's more charming. He's more physical threat, but Sierra was definitely the brains behind the operation. That's clearly who they want to target.
And Sam's too obvious.
Yeah, he's pretty obvious, and he's not as smart as he thinks he is.
Yeah, it's true.
Clearly, because he would have kept Andy right close to his hip had
And he did.
but he didn't do that.
Yeah. So do you feel bad for Sierra?
Not really. No. I mean, she kind of was playing a game that was kind of like obvious that she was the head of the snake of that tribe. I think, and so
Yeah, she was going back and forth with other players and back to Sam, and several episodes ago it was clear that she was kind of playing both sides, right? And this we should have known. They gave her the head of the snake moment. That should have been an indicator that things were going to go great for her, but I guess it was that split. My wife has Sam as her MVP for our fantasy game, and I was like, "You dodged a bullet tonight. That could have gone either way, honestly."
Yeah. Well, like I guess R.I.P. Normally Jaemeel is distraught when he loses a draft pick. I lost one tonight in Sierra.
Okay.
Team Dave is now just Saul, but
I don't take kindly to your characterization of my reaction of my draft picks. Okay, typically I lose my draft picks in some horrible tragic situation, i.e., first boot, pulled from the game due to medical dependency on drugs. Unless we forget Jackson Fox a couple of seasons
you've had
ago.
some unlucky drafts, but you've also won your fair share.
Of what? I haven't won a thing in like what 4 or 5 years.
Well, there's precedent. Like you've won. Before.
Yeah,
You've won before, Jaemeel.
You've
Enjoy
won
it.
before. You've actually only won once. It's all of Survivor. In 12 drafts, you've only won with Chris from Edge of Extinction, who was the guy who got put in,
Which was BS.
after 15 days. So that's like an
He
asterisk.
He was the first person booted from the game, and he made it through Edge of Extinction.
That's like the
BS.
1995 Devils Stanley Cup, where it was a shortened season with the lockout. It's kind of like, yeah, but was it a real?
that's how I won my fantasy. It was I won with Marianne as my MVP, and it was our smallest group of people playing, and it was only a $5 buy-in. So it's usually 20. So
I had Marianne that draft, and I won with her in that particular season.
you chose her because she was Canadian.
I did.
Yes, such BS.
But there was also I also had Omar. I had both of them.
Yes, they're both the Canadians.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it was a pretty good draft.
Brutal. Brutal.
Yeah, actually, she's my only Survivor win, Marianne. I thought I won.
I don't even know who I had that season.
Yeah, well, not the winner.
True, Dave. True. Very true.
Let's go look at that. Okay, well, like I know we've jumped around a lot tonight. Is there anything more on the auction you guys wanted
Yes,
to cover?
absolutely. Kyle breaking vegan hedge.
Can you trust them?
yeah. Can you
No
trust
vegan
him?
diet, no vegan powers. That's the rules.
You
you
should
know?
He already
lost-
downgraded from vegan to vegetarianism
Yes.
to come on the show, which I was like, okay, and Jeff's standing there salivating at the idea of this. He's the devil. Jeff is the devil. I've been saying for years that he's stealing these people's life force when they play for him, and he got the ultimate feast in making a vegan eat meat today.
Yeah, and I love like Sam's like, well, I'll trade him if it's got meat. He's like, no, shut up.
No,
Shut up. I'm going to make this
This.
happen. I totally have chicken wings under here, and I'm going to make this man eat them. I'm going to tempt him, and he's going to go to vegan hell right now. That's right.
I will tell you, I have a sick fascination with going online and finding every single vegan corner on the internet to see the reaction to Kyle. Just totally going and turning
They're
back.
probably
I just
losing
love
their
it.
mind about it.
I love it. I love it. Just because the conversation before is Kyle, he's so down to earth, he's so real. He's like, the salt of the earth dude. And I'm like, just you wait. The only reason why people think that he's so real and down to earth is because he's one, either garbage at this game, or two, they don't show anything. He's the only interesting part of him is his ho-hum attitude and him winning challenges. That's it.
And he buys Sue's story that she's 45.
Yes.
He's the
Completely.
typical guy that wins the challenges all the time. They're always bad at the game. Like remember, like Handsome Joe, and like they always got this guy that, or sometimes it's a girl, but it's usually a guy like him that's young that just wins challenges but sucks at the game, and they're all threatened by him. They're like, "This guy, we can't let this guy into the end."
Because
It's like,
everyone
would he
likes
even
him.
win?
Because
They say he's nice. They're always like, he's so nice. He's a threat because he's so nice and personable. But then they never show him doing that.
Yeah.
I guess it's hard for them to show like how much people like him, I guess. But I guess but is that what people are gonna vote on at the end? It's like, well, Kyle, I guess because they'll like he won so many individual immunities, and he's nice, and why not give it to
Doesn't just the way that you're saying it doesn't sound like you're just giving up. Like he's nice. Like you're trying to convince yourself as to why you would pick him. The only reason why you would pick Kyle over someone else is that you hate someone else and you pick Kyle. That's it.
Yeah. If Andy's sitting next to him,
like if he won out, like they were coming after him, and he just kept winning immunity after immunity after immunity, I could see them giving it to him. That's the only way he wins this game, to me. Like I think if he makes it to the final three, and like there's someone much more strategic that played a way more strategic game, they're gonna win over him. Like that's just what I think would happen.
But if he's there with somebody like Andy at the end,
right, he might beat Andy. But
you know what? Andy.
Andy also, I don't know, but he's gonna
idiot savant is basically what you're saying.
He's definitely gonna be the idiot savant, and
Mr.
like
Magoo.
Like Gabler won a kind of idiot savant game. Like it can happen.
I hated that win.
Especially in the most recent version of Survivor, like they don't have as much time to think, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, like you know what? He did make moves. He did stab this person in the back. He did get to the end. Maybe that guy.
Let's hurry up and make a choice so we can get to the bad pizza and
we need
wine.
pizza. Yeah.
Have there been any other idiot savant Survivor winners?
Marianne
is one I can definitely think of.
I know people are like, Marianne was super smart. I'm like, when we say idiot savant, we don't mean they're literally like a dullard, right?
Yeah.
It's just the kind of not as obvious,
like
not an aggressive player for sure.
Like Wu would have been an idiot Survivor winner had he won.
Yeah.
Right. Not Tony.
No, Tony was too strategic. Maybe like Nick Wilson. He would be another one.
The vampire Nick Wilson.
The vampire might have been kind of in that
category.
Did Coach ever win?
No, but he's definitely in that.
His dragon was not successful.
Oh, Fabio would be in that category.
Fabio.
So there's definitely a few of them, but
I could think of them in Big Brother. Like I think Josh in Big Brother 19 is that category.
Oh, absolutely. You're spot on.
There's somebody else, I'm sure, but it's just like sometimes like the juror's like, are these my options? Okay, fine. Gabler wins. Okay, sure. Let's move on, right? Because the big like obvious picks.
Was it Gabler versus Mike, the New York firefighter? Was that whose competition was?
No, Gabler's main competition was a woman, a young woman. I think Kelly was if I'm remembering correctly. And she took him to the end, thinking, "Oh, well, no, they're never gonna vote for Gabler. Oh, yes. He tells weird stories. And everyone thinks he's like a a kooky old guy. But at the end, they're like, we love Gabler. We don't like you." And like they gave Gabler the win, especially after he says, "I'm gonna give all the money away."
Which was
done deal. We were leading this way anyway. And
you know how I feel about that whole situation in general.
Well, it is what it is. It happened, So it's that's the play of that particular.
Jeff should have stepped in and was like, "No, you can't." Just like how you can't give away chicken wings, you can't give away your winnings.
You have to buy something extremely stupid with this.
Right. Did you feel bad for Gabe at the auction when he had this coconut or whatever?
No.
Isn't that it's the Monty Hall problem? He should have always taken the second one.
Yeah, I agree. I would always take the second one.
You always take the second one.
Right. Well,
Also,
that's true.
Gabe's been on borrowed time with me since the beginning. I thought that he was doomed when he threw the chest, the lockbox down the hill and was making a racket with the lockbox. And I thought he was going to be such a bad player. And he feels like he's just like scraping by, but then he always like comes out hugely on top.
Because
Weird.
he's not a bad player.
He's a horrible player.
He's not a bad
yeah.
player. I disagree.
He's pretty bad. What is that World War One thing? He had that locked and loaded before he ever stepped on the beach. Oh, in World War One, they had this meeting where
The Christmas armistice. He brings this into the tribal council tonight. I was like, what? Okay,
He's well learned. Okay, he is well learned.
Every single person on the tribe was like, "What are
What?
you on?"
No,
about?
no.
You know,
Everyone said that until he finished it, and then I think it was either Carolyn or Gwen who mentioned, "Oh yeah, yeah."
Sure, we're all
Sure.
doing battle tonight.
So wait, you would prefer Andy's stories where he pauses like crazy during the call? Well, it's like in the, and then he'll continue on over and over again. He just pauses throughout, and it's not even like natural pauses. It's like in the middle of what he's trying to say.
oh no, yeah, no. Andy's a rough watch. I'm not arguing that he's not, but Gabe is this guy that like thinks he's so good at Survivor, and he's not really impressive. Like he's got this whole like swagger to him where it's like these people are idiots. I know exactly.
He
what
thinks
I'm
he's
doing.
Russell, Jeff.
Yeah, he thinks he's
Yeah.
Russell, and it's just like you're not though. Like you're
Russell
just like
would come in to the new era and decimate everybody and win it, no problem. He'd get his little concubine together of all these new players who were nobodies,
Yeah.
and he would just wreck house. I want to see Russell Hands come back as like, remember that season when they had Boston and what's
Russell
her
Hands.
face?
yeah.
The
We're
heroes
gonna
villains.
As like the two like oracles you could go talk
Oh,
to. Have Russell come do that.
Battle of the Idols,
Make
or
their little
Island
heads
of
on
the
like
Idols?
Easter Island.
Yeah.
They
style.
should do a version of Survivor where they do that. They have like two like idols or whatever, and but they can't like they're not in the game until the merge, and all of a sudden like Russell joins the merge.
Just
tribe.
Russell walks
You know?
in, like,
Like-
Russell's joining the game.
Yeah, Russell's joining the game. Boston Rob's joining the game. Go.
They've been living
You
at
know?
Ponderosa, but we've been
Yeah.
only giving them rice.
So, quick question though: if they were to do that, and one corner you have Boston Rob joining a merge tribe, and then the other side you have Russell Hands joining the merge tribe, who's the target? To me, it's straightforward, and you got to get at Rob.
Yeah,
If you had to prioritize those two,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, I think so.
you would think so, but you know, that's probably not what would happen.
I'd rather work with Russell if I was
People are like
playing.
Russell's gonna destroy everything. He's gonna win everything.
Russell's a lot more loyal of a player. Like when he has like a core 4 or 3, like he's pretty loyal to his people. Like
Yeah.
both times he played, it was Parvati, it was Jerry there, but in the first season he played, it was
Jason.
Jason and Mick. Like he did not betray those guys. Like
Yeah.
you know.
You talk shit about him.
Oh yeah, he did that.
Yeah, he's like they're dumb and they follow everything I say, but like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
he brought them along. But do you think Rob was less loyal?
Oh yeah, Rob. Oh yeah, the whole famous one was in All Stars when he backstabbed. Was it Lex?
Sesternino?
Lex, and they
yeah.
got Lex got his feelings about that.
Yeah, he was hurt. Protect my girl.
Protect my girl. No problem, Lex. Classic. That's a classic one. Yeah. Okay. But okay. This whole Christmas armistice story. Like I learned about this in Doctor Who. They just threw this into like a Doctor Who Christmas special one time.
Maybe
a
you
couple
watched
years
the
ago.
same episode.
Yeah,
You know?
that's where Gabe got it from.
And then, but I just learned, so famously that was a story about the English army and the German army in World War One. Like they have this thing in Christmas. There you go. But you know, so the next year the Germans are fighting the Canadians, right in the around Christmas time, and they're like, "Hey, let's have a truce, Canadians," and the Canadians just shot them all dead.
That's what they say about the Canadians. We were pretty badass.
Even though we're
on the
connected to
battlefield.
Britain, we were very different about Christmas. This,
No, we
It was
Listen,
like
they
bang,
even-
sorry, bang, sorry, bang, sorry.
the Canadians had a reputation of
Being
apparently
ruthless.
being pretty ruthless. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, so it's kind of it is
like, that's
funny.
our heritage. We never talk about that part of it.
No, we never know. No, we're strong and free and tolerant. That's
Yeah.
It's like
They called us stormtroopers, and we were the most fearsome fighting force.
Well, we didn't miss. So.
These are the battle references. That's how, like, why there's been Canadian winners maybe in Survivor. You know, you have to cut the throats. If you will.
In that picture you have, Jason, of Russell behind you, I do get the Charles Manson vibes from Russell.
Charismatic leader for sure. He's a real culty guy. He's already a millionaire. Multiple times he'd be like, "I don't even need this. Okay?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm already a millionaire."
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
"Why are you playing?" He's like, "Well, I like to win."
Yeah. I like to
That's his
win. I
whole
like to
thing.
just mess with people. Yeah.
I always liked Russell, until he had that season where they just like completely never let him get off the ground, and then I was like,
And then they put his nephew in for 2 seasons, who is probably in prison now.
Yes.
yeah,
Probably.
all of Russell's family members don't go there, like not worth
Yeah.
it.
Willie Hance, not also. Like it usually goes to, hey, you want to fight, bro?
Yeah,
Energy.
they're a brawler family. It appears. Who did he headbutt in Big Brother?
Was it
Frank.
the chef Frank? Was it Chef Frank?
I thought it was Frank the Tank, but maybe
No, it was the chef, the one who always yells all the time. And
Not
my
the son of
computer's
Sid
frozen.
Justice?
No, not Frank Moody. It's look, I'm frozen again. It's great. You know what that means? It's gonna be dance break soon. Chef Joe. Thank you very much.
Okay, the other thing I wanted to ask you guys about in this episode was this note that they give to Rachel in the fries at the auction tonight.
Right.
Like, I guess the first question I really had about this whole thing is, why is it so stressful for her to pull this note out of the fries? Like, I don't want anyone to see me, but I'm like, they're gonna know if you reach into your bowl of fries, no one's gonna question it.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Well-
and you can just palm the.
It's more where you shove it.
You shove it. You go to like really go for your, or you put your burger on top of it until really nobody's looking, And then I don't know. This didn't seem that hard.
They were just making television, I think. I think it is literally as simple as like wait for everybody to look at the next thing be revealed, and I think that's what happened. But they were like, in your talking head, say how you had to hide it.
Right.
Yeah. So you
And then
saw
she
it.
goes, and then she goes and takes it out of the tarp with everybody underneath the tarp, which I was like,
Right way to do
worried
it.
about the
That's
fry. You were
crazy.
worried about pulling it out
Yeah.
of the fries. This is the tougher thing. When everyone's there socializing, she has to cut that idol out of the tarp. I don't know. Like, it seemed a little extreme, like that where this particular plant, but Rachel does get it. And I guess the other thing I was wondering is, maybe I probably should know this after this many podcasts about Survivor, but is like, so once Rachel played her shot in the dark, did that mean she can't play her idol?
Yeah, I wondered the same thing. I didn't know what the rule was.
I think you can only make one move during tribal.
I don't think Jameel's actually.
I'm there.
holding that. Okay, yeah. I was like, I thought you were just like holding. I thought you were holding that facial expression, like which you've been known to do.
I have. So wasn't the rule if you don't have a vote, the rule was if you don't have a vote, you can't use your shot in the dark. I think you could still use your idol though. I think she decided not to use it.
Because he asked, if everybody has an advantage, this is the time to do so. So you play your first of your two advantages. I feel like I would have liked to see her go for it here, because if she really thought she was vulnerable enough to play her shot in the dark, why not double down with the idol here?
I think she was convinced that she didn't need to.
So you think that like the shot in the dark was like a test, almost like
Yeah,
like
That's my perception.
Yeah.
and she correctly read it, because I was getting like a real feeling in this edit tonight that like they really like Rachel, and I think if the other one of this story could be her, like we're talking a lot about Andy and maybe some of these other more eccentric players, but
They kind of did the Saul Rachel connection and then dropped it narratively, which I thought was weird. But they're probably working together still, right?
It's
He
probably
made a pretty
Yeah.
grand gesture.
but only Saul knows that, and
We're
Yeah.
working together. Are we?
are we? Chef Joe.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Also, love connection. Could we see it? I don't know. Either of them.
Oh,
have
that's
spouses.
Kyle and Saul. He's like, he has a great smile.
Yeah, he was like, I love Saul. He's so fun, And it's like Saul's like, I'm trying to play like the doofus, I don't know.
Can we have a conversation about Saul talking about his tribe mates not knowing the Karate Kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
That includes Rome.
I was trying to do wax on, wax off, and nobody understood what I was talking about. It drove me nuts.
Yeah, how much older is Saul than the rest of his tribe? So Saul's 42, so he's a year older than me.
Yeah, I'll be 40 in April, so it's
so Rome's 30. Saul, sorry, I said Saul. Genevieve 33.
Sue's 45, so
Asia 32. Sue's on the blue tribe though.
oh right.
I bet you Sue's never seen Karate Kid.
Teeny's 24. So
Oh, she's too old to have seen it. Her
old.
like, kids know it.
Yeah, her kids know. My kids told me about it. It's like, wait, you're not 45.
well, Jeff, you're 35, right?
Yep.
So you're like 2 years older than Genevieve. Have you seen the Karate Kid?
I've never like sat down to watch the full movie. I've seen scenes from the movie. I know what a Karate Kid is. I know all about it.
If someone said
No,
wax
I'm
on,
not a
wax
fan.
off,
Yes, I know it's from Karate Kid.
you know wax on, wax off.
Yes,
It's
but
funny though, because I would know it more from Ninja Turtles 2, because I'm like even a little bit too young at 39 to have seen it when it was out. I didn't see the movie all the way through until much later. Ninja Turtles 2, though, he does a wax on. What I think Michelangelo does it when they're cleaning up an apartment for Master Splinter.
3 years difference, and you didn't see the Karate Kid?
Maybe. I don't remember watching it as a little kid.
Oh,
I definitely watched
that
it.
hurts my heart. Even Cobra Kai, like
What
I've
about
seen
the
all
new
of Cobra
Karate
Kai.
Kid with Hilary Swank?
I never
that's
saw
the
that.
next Karate Kid. That's the next Karate Kid.
Oh, the
Yeah,
next
that's
Karate
the third one, and then or the fourth one, and then there's the even newer one with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith.
Oh no, that's Karate Kid. But we're all hyped. I want to say we, I mean me, for Karate Kid Legends with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio coming next year.
Will that be canon to Cobra Kai the TV show, or will it be canon to the original trilogy? That's the question.
Here on Karate Kid lore.
Both?
Yeah,
Both.
It's the actually ties it all together.
It's actually Cobra Kai last season is actually 3 parts. So the second part is coming later this month, and the third part is going to be the epilogue leading into the movie, most likely.
That's incredible.
Can't wait.
I'm glad it's going strong.
Saul should be at the premiere, in my opinion.
Saul, okay, I'm really liking Saul.
After winning Survivor.
I don't know if Saul will win, but I am hoping for him to win. Like, he's not just because he's my draft pick, but
Who's your draft pick?
yeah,
Yeah, that's you figured it out. You cracked the code, Jason.
He said he didn't need willpower. He just needed Saul power in his.
That was enough for you.
That was enough. I was like, this guy
Yeah,
knows. This is. I'm kind of liking Saul's like post Rome game. That's going on here. It's like to see
that Rome stuff feels so long ago. I was thinking about Rome playing the game and being really bad at it, and also like that era feels so long ago. But man, was Rome a piece of shit to Saul. Like I would be just over the moon if I ended up where Saul has ended up. He's in a pretty good position. Rome's been gone for a couple weeks. Man,
from their perspective, Rome has only been gone for 2 days.
I know that's what's insane about this new era.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, actually.
For us, it feels like Rome is so far away. And remember, who got voted out last? Tiana. Remember Tiana? Like,
Tiana.
She was mad. Yeah, I don't want
She bad.
She had, yeah.
And then Gabe Saster, was it? Yeah, Saster on X on Twitter, formerly known as X, formerly known as Twitter.
You sassed her?
Yeah.
No.
He made a comment about is the episode up in Hawaii, and because of the time delay.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a sass.
Because Tiana lives in Hawaii.
Yeah. So she said, "Keep my name and Hawaii's name out of your mouth." Practically.
Oh, well, seems uncalled for. But
no.
And then Rome got involved because why not?
Roman's like, "Hey, everybody! Look at my Nikes."
I don't have to tell you anything.
The only thing I guess I wanted to ask you guys about was, did you guys enjoy this challenge tonight with the
Classic challenge?
Do you like this particular classic challenge?
Really.
It's okay. I think they have to make it more exciting by having a man and a woman win it. When it's just one person, and might go on for a little bit too long. Or
my wife said,
I don't know.
Okay.
My wife said, you know what? When Sue won for the women, she said no. She should have kept going and tried to beat Kyle.
She was in a pretty good position. She was pretty locked in.
Yeah.
I said that. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
You should get an advantage.
Yep.
If you, that's what they should do. If you are the sole person to win it, especially if there's a man and a woman left type thing. You should get some sort of
like that note that little note
reward.
should have been like the reward. You don't even tell everybody, but I guess you have to give them the incentive, right? To want to hold out to the very end, where Sue didn't need to do that here.
So
technically.
a little bit of cleanup here with my wonderful reaction. One, I just want to point out last episode, I did make reference to She's All That, saying that Andy is going to be the He's All That for this She's All That reference.
And you were right.
Two, yeah, I was right. And then two, I said they were going to split the tribe into split the challenge into men and women and have two winners. I was right about that.
I actually said that to Jane tonight. I said Jaemeel called that.
Yep.
Actually, I may have said Jeff called that, but I misremembered. It was you, Jaemeel.
Okay. I just want everyone to know, for it to be on record. I also mentioned a couple weeks ago when they had they split the tribe and they had the challenge where the one side won, so they immediately gave up. I said they should have kept going, right, against Kyle. That's the first time I think Kyle won, right? And the other tribe I think they got the food, or they didn't get the food, something like that, and Kyle continued on. They need to continue these challenges until there's one winner. Sure.
Yeah, I didn't like that Kyle just kept immunity. It felt weird. I was like, what the hell just happened? But then my wife had to explain it to me, even though I was watching. She's like, yeah, he just keeps it. And I was like, but why?
Yeah, I agree.
Because instead of Sue didn't get the necklace?
So I think we still get the same outcome. Well, she did, but I think what should have happened is she makes it to the end and has to defend it and get something. Maybe for the whole tribe would have been cool.
Yeah, or some kind of like maybe
pound of rice,
a little extra reward. My favorite part was when Sue was it, she got the necklace here and everything, was when she like wanted to say like someone like my age can win this, but then she's already spun this narrative that she's 45 and she can't say I'm that old. So
somebody as young as me finally won.
My family is like incredible to see me going, and she's trying to find like what else to say instead of that. But what she really wants to say is like, I beat all these young people, but technically she's only barely older than Saul. So
It's so great.
Yeah.
Is the group just like they didn't put an old person on Survivor this season?
The people that makes it
her?
anymore, they just take it for granted. Or they think, well, no, Saul's the old person. He's 42. To them, that is older, maybe, to some of these youngins. Well, I think that's the main stuff from the episode, everybody. Is there anything else we've missed? If not,
it was a content light episode.
Yes,
I think is the problem with this one. The last two episodes, I feel like there was lots to talk about, and you would go long. But I think that where they spent 42 minutes on an auction that we wanted. What I will say about the auction that I don't think we mentioned was that it's not an auction the way that they do it. Really, it's just like whoever has the most money is going to bid on the next thing, because
Right.
of the stipulation that whoever has the most money loses their vote.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, the rock that Jeff picked had 12 on it.
Right. So in terms of when it ends and who happens to have the most money at that point, I think like them not having the same amount of starting money is the problem with it being an auction, right? Because
Yeah.
you know, Andy has nothing, Sierra has all this money,
$1,000.
$1,000. So you know, yes, it's harder in a sense, but it's also not, because she can also just buy her way out as soon as possible. You know, she can bid $1,000 on something. Why not, right? And then he's trying to give money back. I always thought, like, at the very least, like, this should be, well, I guess a few $100 don't really matter, you know, but like,
But on paper, I get why they give the money back, because Jeff was banking on everybody spending all their money, and then somebody ends up with $60 they got back, so they lose their vote. It's kind of like a insurance policy to make sure that it's a toss up. But what my wife had said is, like, just make one of the things you lose your vote. I think they used to do that in the old days, where you bet on a thing and you lose a vote when they reveal what the prize is. I think that would be a better way to do it. Have everybody with the same amount of money, a smaller scale amount of money, and then you're actually bidding on things because everything's covered, you know.
Didn't people refuse to bet though when that happened?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Then everybody just leaves there with their like $400 or whatever, and no food and no interesting moments. I think Jeff's been trying to like modify all the game rules, and that's why everything seems so weird. And then once we get to that next milestone, I think season 50, after that, we're gonna see these like set in place rules come back. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I think he's testing the waters for 10 seasons out of COVID.
pretty much,
And,
you know.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me how much Jeff has become like this puppet master of the game. He's like, I want to try this out. I want to try having half the people immune at this particular tribal instead of this one, you know, and let's make a man immune and a woman immune this week. And I'm like, I don't know, like sometimes I'm just like, let them play the game already. But, you know, I guess it's mixing it up. I agree that like starting with the same amount of money, you could even have like them have to start with the same amount of money, and then yes, the person with with the most amount of money at the end, you know, loses their vote. You can still have that stipulation, right? So you know, it will force people to bid sooner than later. That seems like have they not done that before, like in a previous season? I don't remember.
I think the last time they did the auction about 3 or 4 seasons ago, it was the same rule where whoever had the most.
Yeah.
But it was shorter. I feel like The Rock had like 3 on it. So it was just over really fast. That's how I remember it anyway.
I think you're right, because it wasn't like whatever that random number was, it wasn't very high that particular year.
Yeah.
I can't remember what season it was though.
There's like, just imagine if there's one that's 20 and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's an hour.
Everybody has a bowl of chips.
Everyone's full. Like,
Yeah.
we can't do the challenge. Everyone's gonna throw up. I'm surprised Kyle didn't like. Kyle's gonna shit himself like crazy.
He hasn't had meat in for like 6 years.
Yeah. Do you think like that was the right decision for him?
No, it wasn't. Not for him. That's the runs. That's like massive stomach pains, and it's not even like, oh, he had like some chicken breast. It was chicken wings with like hot sauce, and then blue cheese
and carrots and
no, he's gonna be running. He's gonna be running.
He would have been better off just eating the carrots and celery dipped in the blue cheese, you know. And he would have been okay. But he's hating life tonight, or whenever it was a year ago.
6 months ago or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But once again, I asked the question, Dave, that I think everyone is missing, and we haven't got an answer. What happened to those 18 eggs?
I don't know. What happened to the chicken?
No, they traded the chickens for the 18 eggs.
Oh, they ate the eggs.
And then they lost fire that tribal council, so they couldn't go like and eat those eggs at all. And
I mean, eggs stay fine, you know. Eggs are fine on a
You
counter.
don't have
And
to put them in the fridge, right?
yeah, in Europe, in Britain, I'm pretty sure they leave them on the counter.
Yeah. That seems-
And even still, you just bury them in the sand if you're worried about them. You know, it's cold, like 6 inches down in the sand.
bury
Don't
your
think
eggs
Andy's
in the
gonna
sand.
step on it accidentally.
Somebody
Well-
goes through and stomps them.
Yeah,
Sam gets angry and is like, I'm
Yeah,
taking out the eggs. Chaos.
he eggs Andy.
Well, the thing was, yeah, he ate down those like tube grubs, which, by the way, they were too big tonight, and I could not have done it. I was looking, I was like, no, I don't think I could pull.
I couldn't look at Sue. She tried to chew one up and I regretted it immediately, and then looked like the boogeyman from WWE.
It looked really bad. It looked like, yeah, she looked like Papa Shango or something.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty rough. But yeah,
Papa
Sam,
Shango got
J-
the Ultimate Warrior.
Jason, you can't make any recent references to WWE wrestling. Dave
I
was
thought
on
the boogeyman would have crossed over, but maybe not.
I no,
Papa Shango and the Ultimate Warrior feud.
Yes, Papa Shango, I know. I know Sid Justice. I know some of these people, but
Rest in
you know,
peace.
we're deep cuts here tonight, guys. This is the end of Sierra. Are you sad to see her go?
Nope.
No.
Gabe
Nah.
survives another week.
Let's listen to her final words here as she was voted out here.
You know, I couldn't tell you what happened. I'm completely blindsided. I'm typically somebody who picks up on cues, and there was no sign. So I'm out here with some really great liars. You know, I gave it my all, and I had a blast out here. But I do have a big job ahead of me, being the first member of the jury, and I'm going to be a pretty freaking tough judge now.
I don't know. I don't think it was premeditated. I think she was a victim of circumstance, for the most part.
There were no vibes.
Bad vibes only.
She just got chosen to be the person because she was the strategic force on the Gada tribe, and Andy was like, I'm willing to turn on my tribe, so anyone is going to take that. So that's why she ended up going home. It wasn't like, you know, she did anything wrong.
She was the more dangerous social player.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I feel like she was the compromise, like, you know, because of course Genevieve wanted to get out Rachel, and you know, and Teeny wanted to get out Sam, and I feel like, okay, let's just get Sierra out because she's friends with both of them. She's the glue. She's the glue guy, as Sam would tell you. And yeah,
Who decided that though?
I think it's a compromise, though.
Who made the compromise? Because like say Teeny wants to go
Andy.
after.
Andy made the compromise that it was going to be one
Sarah?
of it was going to be one of those two.
when you
Yeah,
see-
but like when you know Teeny wants it to be Sam, and then like Genevieve and you know Caroline, they're pushing for Rachel. Who makes the decision? No, it's going to be Sierra.
they didn't need Andy's vote at the end of the day, right?
No.
So,
So that's my question. Who decided that? I thought it was Gabe, but I don't know.
I think once Teeny said it should be Sam, I think everyone kind of agreed that it was going to be Sierra.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
let's
we're
Teeny
not
wants
do
it.
it.
Is that
They
we're
what-
wanna
not giving
do.
Teeny what she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
She has
that was-
shown that she has no power in this game whatsoever.
But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
Like, do you feel like Teeny's a threat to win?
No.
No.
No, even though she's my MVP.
She got no
I'm trying
chance.
to get a Marianne redo with the big pot. We have like 12 people playing, and I want that $200.
Yeah.
Teeny's going to win interview with Rob, which she's gunning for.
Right. I was also like, after this episode tonight, even though I think Andy's kind of a tough watch and everything, you know, I think they were, you know, they were mean to him at different times, or frustrated with him at least. And this whole one tonight where, you know, they're looking for the scrolls, and you know, Andy can't find any, and then Sam says like, and because he's doing the sports reporter thing, and he's like, and Andy's in dead last place as always. And I was like,
As always.
yeah, I was like,
it's harsh.
I'm not feeling you guys. You know, it's unnecessary. So,
Well, did you hear from next episode? Sam was wrong. He was
Well-
wronged, and now he needs to take revenge.
good. That's a good segue. Let's have a look.
I have a vendetta. It's time to cause chaos.
Next time on Survivor.
Someone's gave up. blindside on Saul.
Sue is the best target.
Wait, why not Kyle?
It's an absolute mess.
I think you blow up everybody's game. This is nightmare fuel.
Staring people down.
It's a stare down from Sam.
Why is he just over there staring at us? Is he gonna kill one of us?
He was staring down Andy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. We see that the chaos. Everyone wants to target different members of Tuku, seemingly next. You know, why not Kyle? Why Gabe? You know, potentially Sue. I don't know. It feels like Caroline isn't at the top of that list, but maybe I don't know. Could be like a Sierra situation where you just need to get them out. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out. Now that we're down to what the final 10, sorry.
10, yeah.
Dave, no.
I'm skipping ahead. I'm skipping ahead too much.
Hard. I get it.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, that's we got our first member of the jury, and we will be back next week for episode 9. I don't think we have a title yet for this episode released yet, but
The episode is called "Sam Kills Andy for Real with a stick, with a sharpened stick." That's the name of the episode.
he turns him to stone with his stare down.
Yeah, turned to stone.
Yeah, that's what's coming. Okay, well, thanks for being with us, everybody, tonight on the live stream. Make sure to like, subscribe, check out all our, Super Mater Brothers channel. We're also here on the Hey, Did You See This One, Twitch and YouTube channels here tonight. So wherever you're catching us, make sure to check out either channel and both. Subscribe to both. Why not?
Yeah, do it.
Great content here on the United Federation of Planets, where you got, Hey, Did You See This One? You guys doing movies all the time. What were you guys just doing?
We finished up our Grimoire Familiar Killers and had our Halloween spectacular on doing Halloween Part 6 on Halloween on October 31st. And now we move into our Trapped in a Cage, Nicolas Cage movie month, where we also spun a wheel and then had 16 choices picked, put into a tournament bracket, and then had people on social media figure out who the 4 movies are. We ended up with Leaving Las Vegas, Con Air, Valley Girl, and Raising Arizona. So some classics. And Leaving Las Vegas is this week. I watched most of the movie today, and it's fucked.
It is. It's a dark movie. It's really
dark as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, Elizabeth Shue. In that movie, I've seen that movie a few times. I think I own it on DVD. I think it's still on my.
One of only 3 scripts Nick Cage said he ever read before he did the movie.
Yeah.
He's like, I just got to drink a lot. Yeah. Okay.
See,
one of the ones he had to do. Also, he's read the script and he's like, I need to do this.
Yeah,
that just makes it interesting what the other 2 movies are.
One of them was Raising Arizona, and the other one was some vampire one.
The Moonstruck.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Moonstruck. It was something
Renfield?
vampire. Was
it Renfield?
No, it's got vampire in the title of the movie. It's like
Vampire's Kiss.
Yes, yeah, that's it. Those are the 3 movies that he read the script before he did the movie. Everything else, I guess he just went, what's the title? I don't know. I don't know how he decided.
What's the premise? At least?
Yeah. What's the premise? I don't know how he decided.
He's like looking up at his couch and he's like, just paint me a picture.
Yeah. So a bunch of convicts are on an airplane. Yeah. What happens?
Valley Girl was like, hey, I need work. I'm doing Valley Girl. I don't think.
I think that's early in his career. He wasn't too choosy at that point.
He only gives an elaborate story when he's at conventions where the fan base is like, "We love Valley Girl," i.e., the Jillian audience.
Yeah, well, I love the Nick Cage movie marathon in a cage. Great concept and format. So check all that out. Are you guys on tomorrow night?
We're on tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on Twitch, 8 Eastern on Twitch and YouTube Live. And then the next day on Friday, it goes up on video on demand and audio format, pretty much wherever you can get that.
Excellent. Well, soon the Mary Mater Marvel Society, Jaemeel, will be getting together to talk about Agatha all along.
And Venom? No?
We're not talking Venom. No, it doesn't count. So I'm not seeing it. And we're
Sony
not
picture.
And we can talk about the Sinister Six with 5 people in it.
Yeah,
Yep.
whatever they're doing with the Mobius and everything else. Over
I
there.
love it. I'm so happy about it.
But the Agatha one, we do need to get going. So look out for that soon. And then over on our Star Trek channel, we're busy right now. We're doing Star Trek: The Next Generation. We just finished up season 1. Was that last night or 2 nights ago? The Neutral Zone, great episode. Although Kevin Millard hates it. But whatever. Then we also got Star Trek Lower Decks tomorrow. We're talking A Farewell to Arms, the newest episode, season 5, episode 4 of that show. So looks like Klingons or something. And with that, we'll sign off here for tonight. Thanks for being with us. And I got a quote here for you. Let's see how you eat a pie on Survivor. Everybody, have a good one.
Take a bite of pie.
Oh, yes.
That's how you eat a pie on Survivor right there.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.